From the Ugly Beard Studios in Newcastle, California, the Loom Cigar Cartel presents Beyond the Humidor, a cigar podcast for the rest of us. Welcome back for another episode of Beyond the Humidor. Scott Robinson with you on this episode 102. It has not been named yet. Gorilla will handle that. Let's go around the line. Hey, Gorilla, you first. How you doing over there?
I'm doing all right, and little does the audience know, we've been sitting here for 40 minutes just talking complete bullshit, and you're probably not going to hear any of it.
No, you don't.
No, you really are not going to hear it.
Unless in about 10 or 20 years, you're sitting on a grand jury.
Bold of you to think Scott and I are going to live another 20 years.
Yeah. Hey, Lawrence, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. Gregory.
Another week. Here we go.
Yeah, amen to that. So, what is on the agenda du jour for this episode? Because, honestly, I ain't got a GD clue.
Well, that's okay. I got some cigar news to talk about and things like that, new releases that are upcoming. It was somebody's birthday a weekend or two ago.
All right.
So, to one of our listeners that listens very well, happy 51st birthday, Will Brown of the Oasis in Boise, Idaho. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Doing my best Dick Cavett impersonation, and this idiot says, I don't watch Fox.
I don't even know who Dick Cavett is.
Apparently you don't.
Jesus Christ.
But anyway.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, Grandma's dead in a ditch. It's town.
And Lassie can't figure out who to talk to.
Greg's in the well. Greg's fallen in the well.
Oh, just leave me there. Seal it over. We'll be
Big
fine.
ass well.
Speaking of which, my dog is like Lassie now. She talks to me.
Oh, here we go.
No, seriously.
God.
I'll ask her a question, and she bark, bark, bark. You want to go see Mama? Bark, bark, bark. You hungry? Bark, bark, bark. We understand each other.
Wasn't that a serial killer's whole shtick? The dog was talking to him?
Yes, it was.
All right, making a note.
Mm-hmm. Gorilla.
When did you notice something was going wrong with Mr. Robinson?
Episode 102.
Yeah.
It took you that fucking long?
It was more of a gradual decline. It wasn't one moment.
Yeah.
Well, Gorilla, I know this is not part of your details, but I will pay the overtime instead of Larry. Schedule a psychological evaluation for our host, please. He's actually writing it down.
Who is going to administer this test is my question.
Hey, we're looking it up on WebMD. Shut
Dr.
up.
Phil. Wow.
God is greater than the highs and lows, my brother.
So, Gorilla.
We're going to get that tattooed on the inside
Gorilla
of your wrist.
speaking.
When we last talked on the show, you were going up to one of the most desolate areas of California in the
Yes.
extreme north to see the eclipse. Tell us about it.
You're going to Oakland?
Close. No, when last we spoke, we were in the frantic logistic and planning phase for a trip up to the Alturas area because, in case you weren't aware, there was a massive solar eclipse that happened.
I thought it was visiting day.
Something. But we had talked about it. This was a scout trip, and we talked about doing it. We decided to go at the last minute, which means there was a whole lot of logistical crap to do, but we ended up making it happen. Went up there Friday the 13th, woke up early on the 14th, hoping there wasn't going to be clouds, because that was the weekend that we had that little bit of rain, a little bit of cloud come through. By some miracle, we had clear weather, and we got to see what's called a ring of fire eclipse. I sent you guys some pictures on Messenger, and I'll throw them up in the video. But essentially, that's where the moon is a little bit closer in its orbit to Earth. So instead of getting, the sun fully covered in a little bit of that, the corona, which is like the gases of the sun, it's like 89% covered. So you get this Lord of the Rings-esque flaming ring in the sky. And it's really freaking cool. So we made that happen because that's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And it was a 5.5-hour drive, which sucked. But 5.5 hours for something that you're not going to see again probably in your lifetime without flying to another country is kind of cool. So, very worth it. Scott's confused.
No, I'm not confused at all. I was just going to say, what happened to Gorilla? We got white Neil deGrasse Tyson over there.
Hey, so hang on, backtracking. One of the things that made this trip so cool, one of the scouts' dads has a buddy who is an amateur astronomer. So he gave us free of charge all the safe ISO solar glasses, one of those little things that it's basically a tiny telescope that looks at the sun and it reflects back onto a white board so you can actually see like the sunspots and shit. So yeah, we got a small education in what an eclipse is, how it works, and all that jazz.
Nice.
And then the bonus, the extra credit assignment for this trip, because we went up there, we literally went, fuck it, we found a campsite at the last minute. Fuck it, we found enough drivers at the last minute. Fuck it, we bought enough food at the last minute. Let's just go and we'll make it work. The eclipse was started at 8 o'clock, ended by 9:30. We had no other plans for the rest of the fucking week. We were up in Alturas in Cedar Pass with nothing to do, and one of the other adult leaders just like, we're an hour drive away from where the Nevada, Oregon, and California borders meet. Want to go hike out to it? Sure. So we hiked out to the Tri-State Point. There's a big old rock monument out there that some dude put up in like 1870 or some shit. So that was it was a cool trip. Long trip, long drive. And I said it before we started recording. Very barren, very desolate part of California, but weirdly one of my favorite parts of California because one, there's no fucking people. Two, it's all volcanic mountains and plains and all sorts of cool shit. And there's little tiny communities. I was telling my dad, I wish I got a picture of it. There's on the way to the tri-state border point, you have to drive. It's very scary. You're on like a very nice paved highway, and then you're on a very narrow like country road, and then you're on gravel, and then you're on a little like spit of like walking path, you know, as you get further and further from the last town. But we went through a town called Fort Bidwell, which is like maybe 50 people live there, but they have the old general store in the middle of town that's all run down and shit, and you can tell it's been repainted a bunch of times, but they left probably a 30 by 15 advertisement for Levi's overalls, 25 cents a piece on the side of the building, like old, like a 1920s era Levi's ad that's been on this building. We drove by it, I'm like, that is the coolest fucking thing. But it was a cool trip.
Last time I bought a pair of Levi's, it was nowhere near 25 cents. Especially when you got to go to Omar the tent maker to get them made.
Yeah, it's like buying 3 pairs of Levi's and sewing them together.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way up there, my dad knows this, we passed through another one of my favorite spots, the Sierra Valley, Portola, Loyalton, Sierraville, that area up above Truckee. I love that valley. One of the coolest places we shot shotguns, I think, when I was shooting for Del Oro, because the gun club's in the middle of the valley, and you're just shooting toward the mountains. It's freaking cool.
How well would you say that the Hickory Bronze October would do up there?
Not too bad. The campsite we were at is called Slough Creek Campsite. It's in the pass between Cedarville and Alturas. I can't remember what number that highway is, but it would be accessible for definitely for a tow behind trailer like my dad's or the tent trailer like yours. The Hickory Bronze October might be a little big to get in. It's not a bad road. It's a maintained gravel road. It's just got some tighter turns I don't think the Hickory Bronze could make. But it does have pull-in campsites. No potable water though. You got to either filter your water or bring it. So
Good times.
yeah, cool trip.
All right, let's do a what are we smoking? Starting with you there, Gregory.
So I picked as one of my go-tos today. It's become a new one, and it's actually why I took the picture earlier. The Agarnosa leaf Corojo is what I'm smoking today. This is the Valediction Corojo, and it's a beautiful stick. I don't find them often in California, at least none of the shops that we frequent. So I typically have to get these when I go over the mountain to the vault over in Meridian. Beautiful stick. It is, if you will bear with me for a minute, Nicaraguan Corojo wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and Nicaraguan filler. This happens to be a 6.5 by 52 box press. Really good stick. Earthy, cocoa and kind of Kahlua notes on the back end. Just a really good cigar and one that I enjoy and wish I could get more of them. Price point's pretty decent over there. It's about $13, so here would be about $18.
Cool. Sounds good. Scott, what about you?
You know, whipped out an apostate, always a good time, always a good cigar, no matter which one you get. But I decided to smoke the Deseret. This thing is lovely.
Yeah, you are like continually surprised by how good that cigar is, aren't you?
Oh yeah,
Yep. No, that's a good line of sticks.
like an advanced
doing-
barber pole.
Yeah, I'm probably doing one a week on those now. The Gorilla and I are both smoking what was a gift. The box was a gift, and it's sitting here. If you're watching the video, thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
They're Don Tuto cigars from Costa Rica. This was in someone's grandfather's humidor and was passed on to me. From the research that I've done, it's all Costa Rican Habano tobacco wrapper, binder, and filler. And from what I've been able to find out, it looks like it's from probably 2000, 2001. So fairly older cigar than what we typically smoke. A little earthier than I typically like, but some pretty good flavor, wouldn't you say, Gorilla?
Mm-hmm. I would agree. It's almost too earthy, but especially on the first light, you lose this as it goes through the cigar. But especially on first light, there's a little bit of, I don't know if sweetness is exactly the right word, but there's something else in there that kind of mellows the earthiness out at the beginning.
It's almost a white pepper. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not a.
It's
Yeah, it's just there's something a tinge right on the first couple of draws to it, but yeah, I mean for a 20-some-year-old cigar, it's been humidified. It's not something that we had to recover or try.
It doesn't seem like a 25-year-old cigar.
But no, pretty smooth. I don't know if they're around anymore. Like I said, the earliest thing I could find on the internet about any of them was from around 2004. But it looks like this particular Robusto is from about 2000, 2001. So I'll give you guys a couple of them, let you try them out, see what you think.
Sounds
Nice.
good. So, Larry, can I ask a question before Scott goes into, or before we move on here?
Sure.
I noticed you didn't your typical. You punched it this time instead of your typical V cut. Any particular reason?
Well, I didn't have my V cutter with me.
Mhm.
It is on the dresser at the house, and I noticed V cutting. This is probably the fifth or sixth one of these I've smoked. A couple of times I kind of tore up the end of it, V cutting it. So the last couple I've punched, and it seemed to work out a little better.
Right.
So that's what I did.
Nice.
So what's the next topic of the day there, gentlemen?
I think we need to mention what we're drinking, Lawrence.
Oh, yes, we do. We are cracking open the bottle again of Eclipse rye whiskey from Hogback Distillery in Colorado. They have a new tasting room, fairly new. It's been open a minute now, up in Estes Park, Colorado. So if you're in that neck of the woods, please stop by and check these guys out. They have some great products, and we enjoy hanging out with them. We enjoy their product, and look forward to spending some time with them again here in the near future.
And make sure you tell them that Beyond the Humidor sent you.
Yeah, please. We're getting dangerously low on this bottle,
We
are.
Funny thing, Larry.
sir.
When Graham and Catherine joined us for that podcast, which was episode 50, by the way, that was the very first time Graham had ever done something like that in relation to his distillery. So it was pretty cool that we were his first one.
Yeah, and they have a collaboration I saw on Facebook with a brewery right there in Estes Park. They're going to age some beer in one of their whiskey barrels.
Nice.
So we need to see about getting those guys on a phone in and talking
doubt.
about that, because I'd be interested in that for sure. That sounds like that'd be a good time.
Let's take about 30 seconds and talk about this particular one, the Eclipse. It's been aged in rum barrels.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the taste, Larry.
This, if you're not a whiskey guy or gal, it probably won't make a difference. It's probably not enough of a a taste difference, variety for you to pick up on, but the rum barrel, you get just the touch of that rum sweetness.
Yeah.
I'm a rum drinker, so I like all kinds of rums. I probably, if I walked into a place that had a lot of high-end stuff, I would probably gravitate to a rum before a rye or a bourbon. That's just my preference.
I'm with you on that.
But the combination of the two is just a unique flavor that I've never come across.
On the initial, you'll get the caramel notes, and then on that ending is where the rum barrel comes into play.
Yeah,
like
almost yeah, molasses or a dark, brown sugar
Yes.
or something like that. But yeah, it's it definitely different than any other rye that I've had. And it's funny because I've had a bunch of people try this, and people that aren't really, really serious about whiskeys don't like it. They can't get past it doesn't taste like a rye.
Right.
Well, it's not supposed to taste like a rye.
Exactly.
So it's for somebody that's not really in the know, or spends, a lot of time trying different whiskeys and different rums and different ryes and different whatever, this may not be for you. But it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah.
No matter where you are in your evolution.
Well, I'm thinking that the aging in the rum barrels takes off the harshness at the end. It's more of a sweetness than it is a burn.
No, that's true. It's still got a little bit of a bite to it.
Oh, it does.
But and I think anybody over the age of 30 that's tried more than a handful of whiskeys has had at least one where you're like, oh my God, the aftertaste is like gargling with gasoline.
Oh yeah, Jet A.
And that's just part of the experience as you're moving along through different whiskeys. It's nothing like that. It's there's a bite to it, but like Scott said, it's the sweetness that just differentiates itself from anything else I've had in a rye.
Right. All right, so let us move on. Greg, you said we've got some cigar news.
We do. We have quite a few of it, quite a bit of it, actually. So
Talk to me.
let me switch windows here, and let's go over a few things. The first thing is Miami Cigar and Company is announcing their new Tatiana 25th anniversary. It'll begin shipping sometime this week, which for you folks is that is the week of 10/23, because this podcast will obviously come out after that. They are limiting it to a 2,500 box run. That's kind of the basics of I have on the press release. There's no brand information other than its size is going to be a Vitola, a 6x54 Toro, MSRP around $12. So that's going to be an interesting one to see when it comes out. We also have Foundation, our good friend Nick Manella at Foundation Cigars, is putting out a new cigar called the Matepa. It ships to cigars nationwide. It's a beautiful box. I will get Gorilla can go on and download all the pictures because they're on the website. It's a Maduro Claro, so its wrapper is Sumatran Ecuadorian, which that's one of ones that we seem to appreciate really here. Binder Connecticut broadleaf, filler is Esteli, Jalapa, and Nicaraguan. It's going to be in a 7x54 double Corona. It's a soft box press, which means it's not round but not box press square. Price point a little bit. It's $18 per cigar. It's also going to come in a 6x52 Toro, $16.50 per cigar. 5x50 Robusto at $15.50, and a 5.5x48 Corona Gordo at $14.50. We've all smoked the High Claire Victorian, and I've smoked several others throughout his line, and it's just a great line. Nick really does a good job on that, and it's one I'm looking forward to as soon as I can get my hands on it. Probably I'm going to have to find it over at the vault if Josh brings it in.
Huh. The Corona Gordo, that's not one you see very often anymore.
No, definitely not. It's a great size.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
The CLE PCA 2023 exclusive for CLE cigars is now shipping. We did not make it to PCA this year for various reasons, but it is going to be Christian Arroyo, founder and president of CLE Cigars, wanted to create a really ultra-premium Connecticut blend. So it is a Connecticut blend cigar. The boxes are gorgeous. Box doubles as an ashtray, too, the box lid, so it's really cool. I know you guys can see it. Our audience can't, so Gorilla will have to get pictures up for them. But it's a really pretty box, Connecticut cigar. Look for that in the fine establishments that sell CLE.
Good times.
PCA has put out a statement about nothing fair about the Tobacco Tax Equity Act. It's part of the CARES for Moms Act that was introduced by Congress in September of this year. It's basically imposing either further stricter taxes on there. It's one of the things where we probably should reach out to Josh Habersky and get him on the program to talk about it in more detail. But they're talking pretty sizable tax hike if it goes through. And our good friends at PCA are always watching out for that. And lastly, I want to come to CLE again. I beg your pardon, I'm still recovering from a cold. So CLE also announced earlier this month they are putting out their Arroyo CBT 51. It's shipped out. I'm trying to find it because I really am interested in this one. It's a limited edition blend to celebrate Christian Arroyo's 51st birthday. The cigar made its debut at 8 Lounge, which is at the Resorts World Las Vegas at PCA this year. We missed that one too. It's going to be the box of cigars is 10 count boxes, 50 by 10 inches. It's a big boy.
Yeah, it is.
It is a the CBT stands for Capa Banda Tripla Maduro, which translates to wrapper binder filler triple Maduro.
Hello.
Woo.
Now, got your attention, don't we, Larry?
Yes, we do.
So I am trying as best I can to find this cigar for us to try because it's one that I personally want to try it because of the size. I know you do because of the flavor profile.
Oh, yeah.
MSRP on that cigar comes in a 9 count box. MSRP on that cigar, $30.40. It's a bit of a price, but hey, I really want to try that. So
Yeah.
I got feelers out to find that one. In fact, I need to get a hold of somebody and talk to them about that one. There's another one that I don't fully understand enough. So we talked a little bit a few episodes back, probably about 10 or so, about the products and manufacturing practices proposed rules that are coming out from the FDA because they can't get the hell out of our cigar industry as it is. If you'd like to learn more about this particular one, PCA has made comments on record on that one as well for the proposal on that. It's setting standards for how the rules are going to be put into effect of how cigars are manufactured, which for an industry that operates predominantly in impoverished countries could be a problem. So the FDA, the PCA has pointed out 5 points of contention regarding this particular edict that they're trying to pass, for lack of a better term. The FDA has failed to demonstrate that the harms which the proposed rules seek to address exist. The FDA has not adequately assessed the proposed rules' environmental and economic impacts on cigar-producing countries or small businesses. Compliance is out of context or inappropriate for non-premium handmade cigars and pipe tobacco. The FDA has failed to consider and lacks the capacity to enforce the proposed rulings, and misapplication of the proposed rules to non-premium handmade cigars and pipe tobacco is not a remedy by proposed variants or exemptions. If you guys would like to learn more on this particular issue or any of the news issues that I brought up, if you go to our website, LoomisCigarCartel.com, there's a little news link in the upper left-hand corner. All these articles, as I get them sent to me by the various outlets that are sending this out, I'm posting them on there for you guys to check out. I also put them up on Facebook. So please, keep up to date, particularly the PCA notices that I put up in regards to proposed rule changes, things like that the FDA and other government entities are proposing. It's important that we, as individual cigar smokers, get involved and make our voices heard. The FDA has a comment section. The more you complain, the more you bitch, the more you email them, the more work they have to do to put that on record, and the more it'll help our cases.
Greg paused awkwardly because Gorilla signaled he was going to speak. Not necessarily right at that moment. Gorilla will also put those in the description of the podcast so you can pull them up as you're listening. Look how efficient I am.
Yes. Oh, one more thing I'd like to...
Also.
Oh, go
Gorilla
ahead.
had a question about the PCA one. Gorilla, not smart, words big. Layman's terms, essentially, the PCA is saying the FDA does not have the capacity nor intelligence to enforce the rules they're making.
Pretty damn
Okay,
much,
cool.
yes.
That's what I...
Not to
Too
mention...
long didn't read.
Not to mention...
Gorilla good.
How do you enforce...
Extra banana today.
How do you enforce manufacturing standards in a country that the FDA has no control over?
I love it.
That's the idiocies that these friggin' Democrats are around at.
So, jumping back to your new release stuff,
Yes.
just from what I've seen here and there on Facebook, we need to reach out to John Fozzie at Christoph and see if we can get him on, back in here live or on the call-in, because it looks like Christoph has just gone off the rails on new release stuff.
Yeah, I think it was 4 new releases at PCA this year.
Yeah, but and then just the varieties that have come along with that, sizes and everything. It looks like they have quite a bit of new stuff in their line. So probably time to get a hold of Fozzie Bear there and see what we can see what kind of info we can get out of him.
Yeah, Fozzie was supposed to be up, but I think we missed him. But yeah, the other one that I was going to mention, and this was an earlier release, press release from, when was this posted? Beg your pardon. Beginning of the month. So United Cigars is a pretty good cigar conglomerate, predominantly on the East Coast. They are releasing one that I have been trying to find, and I've been trying to find it because I know you particularly would like this one. Okay. It's the Bandolero Firecracker, and it's their 2021 and 22 respectively editions. They were releasing those. One of the Firecracker editions is the 3 Wise Men from Foundation. The other is from Bandolero, and they look amazing from the pictures and from the descriptions. But it's the Bandolero Firecracker particularly, because if you listen to this one, it incorporates carefully selected filler leaves from the Dominican Republic, Nicaraguan, and Peru.
Yeah.
And that Peruvian tobacco is awesome.
I like it.
That's pretty much...
We got an event coming up here locally that I'm trying to look up real quick.
Are you
November
talking about
1st.
November 1st at
November 1st at Stogies of Lodi? Rocky Patel will be in the building.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That is a Thursday, I believe.
Are we going to try and trek down there?
I am.
Yeah,
you guys
for
going
sure.
I'll be there.
Okay. That's settled. That'll be next week.
Gorilla's going to...
Thursday or Wednesday?
It's a
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday the 1st.
This, unfortunately, will come out after that event has happened.
Oh, yeah, well, I'm glad I mentioned it.
Yeah.
But...
I'll mention it on After Dark this week.
Oh, no. This episode comes out on the 29th.
Oh.
So, yeah, 4 days before. So, yes. Good. By the way, the After Darks, did I miss it last week?
You know what? I have been remiss over the last 2 weeks. I've been working on a personal project, so unfortunately, I have not done it over the past 2 weeks. But I will be back this week, or of course, you'll know that because this will come out on the 29th, and After Dark will be on that Wednesday before.
November 1st is, in fact, a Wednesday.
Wait, whoa, what?
It is a Wednesday. He's right.
Shoot,
Wednesday.
you're right.
Halloween's Tuesday night.
Fudge me.
So there will not, just so you know, folks, there will not be a Beyond the Humidor After Dark on the 1st of November because Scott and Larry and I will be getting drunk with Rocky Patel.
Or
Go ahead,
there's
man.
there's gonna be a live where they're drunk with her.
Hold on. Maybe.
Spit it out.
So, why are you up on my mic? You have a mic.
Oh, we're having a deep conversation. I figured we'd use one
So,
mic.
Explain to me
Creepy.
how you plan to get drunk when you don't drink alcohol, Greg. How does
I'll
that
figure
work?
it out.
That should make it easier.
Yeah, it'll take less of it.
We'll have more on the Dick Cavett show after this.
A little double Shirley Temple.
Yeah, but anyway, no. Every time Rocky used to come to Tobacco Republic, I'd make sure I had a little. For me, it would be a couple of splashes, but I have to have a drink with him. It's just tradition. Yes, it's about 3 sips for me. What's your point?
Nah, you do you, brother. You do you. I don't encourage drinking when you don't want to drink. I'm not that guy.
It's true. He's not a high pressure guy in most cases.
Mm-mm.
I beg to differ.
What the hell are you listening to?
Yeah, fucking clown music kicked on there for a second. Note
Fits right in.
note on the Don Tudos.
Sir.
Because they're so old, getting the label off is tricky. I found it.
Yeah, burn right through that son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
all
smoke
right.
through it.
Because I think this is the third one I've had, and each time it's like delicate surgery to try to get the wrapper off or the band off without peeling the wrapper with it. But even when you do, it still smokes fine.
And I can't remember what cigar it was the other day. A week or so ago, I had one that they basically glued the damn label to the cigar.
Oh, I love when that happens, when they get a
like-
little happy with the pectin glue.
It's like, what the fuck is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, one goddamn label. Put one goddamn label on it. Don't put a label and then a different color band and then the little velveteen foot. At the
Hey,
end
you're
of it.
fine, apostate. Keep doing what you're doing.
Let's just call that out right there. Sebastian, Brian, what are you doing? Anyway.
They get a pass because theirs look so beautiful.
Yeah, but it's a lot. I'm not picking on those guys specifically because I honestly didn't think about the fact that they have more than one label behind. So the gorilla kicked me right in the junk there, but
Yeah, way to piss off our friends.
but
They're
yeah,
friends
man,
of ours.
I pulled something out of the humidor the other day, and it was a 3-piece label up top, and then it had the little not velvet, satin ribbon, and then it also had the sleeve of cedar.
Jesus.
Like, Jesus Christ, and in cello. I'm like, Christ, man.
Man, when you accessorize, you really accessorize.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, matching coat and earrings. But yeah, it's like it took me longer to unwrap this son of a bitch than it did to smoke it.
It's like one of those It's like one of those food bowls that they are using for dogs now. They got to dig and find the treat and shit.
Yeah.
It's
We
an
have one of
it's a-
those.
That cigar is an enrichment activity.
What that cocksucker just call me?
A dog. Bark, bark. So, Larry.
Yeah, someone save this.
So, Larry,
Yeah.
you recommended a cigar a couple of months ago. When I was in Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival, I was hunting for it was the paybacks for from Room 101.
Yes, sir.
So I found a couple. I bought one for a buddy of mine, and Scott might enjoy this. He might not. The next time you come up with me to Idaho, a straight razor shave on the head.
That's a treat, man.
Yeah, and
You
I
have someone competent who can do it?
yes.
Okay.
You remember Johnny?
Yeah.
Johnny does it. Johnny's a trained barber when he was in the Coast Guard.
Right on.
And he's got a chair in his garage. It's the shit.
Hell yeah.
So every time I go visit, I get one done. It's a little long right now. Johnny, coming to see you again.
Wait a minute.
A little long, he says, as the light beams off the top of his head and blinds
Just
me.
because I got no hair on the top of my dome doesn't mean there's the horseshoe Picard around the sides.
More like Dollar Tree Lex Luthor, but
Well,
hey,
yeah, there's that. But anyway,
why be detailed?
Hold on.
Okay.
Let me get this straight.
By all means.
You're letting a Coast Guard guy put a razor to the side of your head?
yeah,
we go.
a coastie. Yes.
The fuck was that? Oh, here we go. Okay. I mean, he's a braver man than I am.
Hey, you can.
Spit it out.
It's the Navy's little sister. It's fine.
Yeah, true. You can come. You can come next time and sit in the chair. It'll give your beard a trim and a nice haircut.
Not that I'm down in the Coast
Luke,
Guard.
And then I'll
Luke,
stab him in the throat.
Yeah, Luke, my barber. Greg was just kidding, man. I can't do that to you, my brother.
So
It's all good.
anyway, I was going to. So I was able to get a couple of paybacks. It was a 7 by 65 ring, 65-70 probably ring gauge. What was really nice about it is, much like the Asylums, I found that paybacks, even in that larger ring gauge, they retain their flavor.
No, they're
It
very
was
smooth.
really great.
Yeah, that was one of the things I really liked about those. They're very smooth. I picked those up in that 65 ring gauge, but also in about a 40. And both of them are really stellar cigars. Just really good. Everything I've smoked out of that collection of stuff I picked up from Room 101 down there at Stogie's, I've been really impressed with.
So far, they're the only place that I can find that has the paybacks down, is that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah.
I need to try that one in
You
that
do.
case. I haven't had it yet.
And, you know, did you smoke that 80 ring gauge one I got you yet?
No.
You should.
I haven't had time to smoke.
I get that. I mean, it's going to be a 4-hour commitment, but
Yeah.
That was the
the Asylum,
yeah, no,
Yeah.
great flavor. Asylum's large ring gauge cigars are really, really.
I picked up 2 of those
You know?
sample packs a year ago at Rocky Mountain. And man, once, you know, this is one of those things where you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to set those aside. I smoked the last one I had on the way to Rib Fest. Driving up there.
Okay.
As I just, they're so good, man. You create some time to make sure you got, you know, enough time to smoke those. And they go a little faster than you would think.
They do.
For that size cigar.
I
But
usually
they're
drag mine to
super-
4, though.
They're super smooth, man. I can usually get through one in just under 3.
And, you know, maybe if we want to have a fun podcast one day, it'll be a long show. But we should get the new 100 ring gauge from Lunatic with from Arganosa and smoke that one.
That'd be a
Yeah, I'm not doing
time-lapse
that.
show.
Hell no. No.
There will be no photos of that.
The Gorilla had a thought while you guys were talking. The Gorilla will not be available the evening of the 1st of November, but he would very much appreciate some Big Sky cigars
That
if you
can
guys are
happen.
going to be down there. 'cause
We
that's-
can make that
That's the
happen.
only place I know that they are around here.
Yeah,
Correct.
I haven't seen them anywhere else.
Well, do you know that if I remember correctly from talking to Brandon, doesn't one of the owners of Big Sky live down in Jackson?
Do they?
I think Lee Marsh lives here in California. We need to we need to reach out.
Okay, then reach away.
I will.
Good man.
Pray tell, what is the Gorilla going to be doing on March 1?
March 1,
Or,
isn't that his
No,
isn't that
stop. November 1.
No, November
Meeting?
1 is a Wednesday. That is the troop committee meeting night, and that is an important one to go to because our biggest fundraiser of the year is 2 weeks after that.
yes, the Mandarin Festival.
Now, I'm so looking forward to the Mandarin Festival. I didn't go last year.
You still owe me artwork for Mandarin Festival.
I do.
banners.
I have it. I'm going to send it over to you tonight.
Are you schlepping mandarins
no,
again?
I'm officially an adult now, so I get to point and
Oh, you get to supervise.
I get to supervise. So yeah, I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast. First of all, if
Later.
you're in the Auburn area, go to the Mandarin Festival. It's a cool little event at the Gold Country Fairgrounds.
Yeah, it
how,
is
ma-
not
how
s-
long have they been doing this?
Sheesh, long as I can remember. It's not a little event anymore.
Oh no,
man.
they've
It's-
sold out vendors already.
So So yeah, it's a cool deal.
But no, Troop 13 here in Newcastle picked up a gig where there's a local nursery, used to be Isley's, now it's a Green Acre affiliate, but I think it's a lot of the same people still working there. They loan us a bunch of their little red wagons that, take place for shopping carts at their nursery. We set up, if you've ever been to the Gold Country Fairgrounds, there's that big hill down from the parking lot, and then you go out into the fairgrounds.
Oh, yeah.
We set up at that grassy corner right there across from the information booth.
Grassy knoll.
Yeah, exactly. And essentially, the best way I've been able to describe it, it's like layaway. You go, you grab your bags of mandarins, you grab your, the 25-pound chicken yard art piece your wife made you buy, whatever, and you bring it back. No.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe. You bring it to the scout booth, and what we do is we tag it with your name. We set it up on our tables. We keep all your stuff together. We write your name down, and we give you a receipt. And now you can walk around the rest of the festival without having to truck 8 trips to your car or carry a 25-pound, metal yard art chicken with you. When you're ready to go, we give your stuff back to you, or we load up 2 scouts and a wagon or 2, and we'll cart your stuff up within reasonable distance. We're not taking you to the freaking Placer County Courthouse, Susan. That happened one year. We had 2 scouts gone for like 3 hours. Like, where the hell did they go? But we'll take you to the parking lot or right outside the other gates, and we do it all for donation. And for every, less than wonderful person that doesn't tip, we have a sweet little old lady that'll drop, $20-$40 in the till, and that's one of the biggest fundraisers we do every year. We use that money to fund trips, to keep costs of like awards and patches and stuff down for the kids. So it's a huge thing. It's crazy, to the point where like the nurseries and the vendors know that we do it. So someone will walk over in an apron from like ICE and be like, "Hey, this lady's buying 3 mandarin trees. Can we get some scouts to haul these up to the car for them?" So yeah, it's a cool little gig. It's a unique thing too. It's a weird.
Yeah, well, this is a unique area for growing mandarins, so
Yeah, it is.
yeah, it's a fun thing. It's a fun event. If you're anywhere in the Sacramento area and you've never been, definitely look that up. It's at the Gold Country Fairgrounds in Auburn.
It is the Friday, Saturday, Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Ooh,
Ching.
crap. Okay.
Is that hunting weekend?
Oh God, no. Season ends next Saturday for me, and I'm not even didn't participate this year at all. No, that's the weekend before Thanksgiving. You know where I'll be?
Where?
Arguing with people about how
Working.
many turkeys are left.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, yeah, and chocolate almond milk.
Yes. Nut juice.
How the fuck do you get milk from a chocolate?
If you
almond?
haven't figured this out, folks, I work for a grocery store. We were not going to name which one, but I work for a grocery store.
Sack of suds.
I'm not. We're not going to resurrect that again. I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm being good. Don't do that.
So,
Don't say the B word.
baseball season is coming to a close here. The potentially deciding games are tonight to set the World Series. Right now, it is tied 3 apiece between the Astros and the Texas Rangers. I want the Astros to win because, of course, if the Astros go to the World Series and win, I win half the pot, and Billy Bones wins the other half of the pot. For those of you who are like, what the fuck is he talking about? Every year, our good friend Pat Walsh, host of the Pat Walsh Show on KFBK, available through the iHeartMedia app. If you're outside of our listening area, download it, check it out. He's very entertaining, 7 to 10 Monday through Friday. There you go, Pat. Does a baseball prediction pool. A group of us get together. We throw some money in a god-awful LA Rams piggy bank. Whoever predicts the winner of the World Series, or in lieu of none of the winners got there, gets the most picks to go to the World Series, wins the pot. And as Scott will attest, because Scott was there that night, we did the recap on it. I didn't pick for shit this year. I've been second place the last 2 years and didn't do a damn thing this year.
And gee, who's winning so far?
It's Pat again.
Of course.
But, it's a good time. It's always fun to go on the show and do
it
that
is.
live.
A sports guy
on
doing
radio.
a sports betting pool, isn't that kind of like insider trading?
Very likely, but we do it anyway.
The house always wins.
The house does not win in this case.
So we ought to do one of these recordings later and then call into Pat's show.
Oh,
from
no.
the podcast.
Hard pass. Not a good idea.
And start fucking with him about the Rams.
One of the two
No.
sides of that phone call has to abide by FCC regulations,
Yeah.
and it's not us.
Right.
No, we do have to abide by it when we're on
we
it.
do need to get Pat on here and just
Well, that's easy.
not even talk cigars. I want to talk about his radio career because it's been cool.
Well, actually, Gorilla, there is plans right now for that to happen. Pat leaves or has left.
He left on Sunday.
He's on a 2-week trip to Italy.
Oh yeah, because
So-
he does those tours every
the
year.
conservative tours.
Yes. So, what the plan is when he gets back to record on a Saturday morning, and we're going to have him on the show so we can talk about his radio career. We can talk about his trip to Italy, and just he's such a cool dude. It'd be good to have him back on the show again. The other one we need to get back on the show again is Colonel Knight.
I listened back to those episodes in the recent weeks, and oh yeah, those were
Quite unique.
Speaking of which,
Working.
the reason why you were listening to said shows.
working on it.
Okay.
Signs come first,
Okay.
then your
Understood.
podcast.
Understood. I
It
understand.
is plugging along. I did have to stop and rearrange file space on my computer because, believe it or not, downloading a bunch of clips of video eats up your memory real quickly.
I would not be surprised.
Indeed.
But it is in the works. It hopefully in the next week or two I can get it finished, but we will see. Yeah, working on it. Working on the
Alright.
Clips show.
Good times.
Yes, indeed.
Are we ready to pull the plug on this event, or
Last thoughts on your cigars, guys, before we wrap this up. What is this? El Tuto?
Don Tuto.
Don Tuto?
Mine's blown up a little bit because I did a poor job of taking the band off, but the flavor's still there. Still good, a good smoke.
yeah, for as old as it is, it looks like it was correctly humidified all those years, and it's a great stick, man. I'm real happy with this. This would be something if it was still in production today, I'd keep in my rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mr. Robinson?
What do I need to say? It's apostate.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a good time.
Yeah. This Arnagosa Terrence has always done a great job in what he does. And, he's one that I'd like to get on the program and talk to as well. And it's just, if you can find the Arnagosa Leaf line, you need to check it out. It's really one of the better lines on there. And, while we're on the subject,
All right.
my addiction is bit again. I now have 45 and a half boxes. I picked up another box, 2.5 boxes of the last SAR.
Jesus, Greg, you need help.
I also have, once they get delivered and they sit in my humidor for a few weeks, look for an upcoming show where we discuss the Oliva nubs
how about
as soon as they get delivered.
Okay.
But yeah, so me and Cigar Bit have been having a little bit of a intimate moment again.
Nice.
Okay. Go on,
Gorilla has one final announcement just because it's a little different. MASH podcast announcement. Finally, Ethan's schedule and my schedule are fairly stable, so we're going to do the thing we've been putting off for a year and a half now. We are finally going to sit down with our previous guest on the show, Mike Jameson, and watch the original 1970 Robert Altman MASH the Motion Picture, which I haven't watched in a while. It's going to be a time. It's a wilder movie than I remember now that I'm an adult and watching it again for the first time in a long time. So that episode comes out November 6th if you are so inclined.
They really should be listening. You hear that, everybody? Listen.
Hey, Gorilla, take me home. Well, the apostate's getting close to the nub, and my glass is empty, so I think it's about that time. I want to thank everybody out there for listening, and on behalf of the Gorilla, Larry, Greg, and myself, thank you for listening. Check us out at LumenCigarCartel.com. Like and share us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram, although we found out something interesting about Instagram.
We're
that we
shadow
need to fix.
banned.
got you, bitch.
Anyway, try to listen on Instagram. We're in the process of trying to fix that. But don't be a stranger. Drop us a line and let us know you're out there. I'm Scott Robinson, and on behalf of all of us here at Beyond the Humidor, we look forward to chatting with you on the next episode. But until then, stay healthy and safe, and good smoke, good drink, and good life.